Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Karina.
And welcome to Cocco
Cocco
Live. We are so excited to have all of you here today to our first ever Cocco live stream. Once again, my name is DJ, Director of Club Cocco, and this is Karina.
Nice to meet you guys.
Today, we're going to go through a lot of different things. We're going to go through education, some amazing deals, and first and foremost, the education.
Yes.
So a little bit about me. I am not a barber at all.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I'm not a barber. I'm not a beautician. I'm not a cosmetologist.
No.
And so I'm going to be the student here today. And so I'm going to be behind the camera, taking you with me as I learned from Karina how to do an amazing haircut. With that, I'll also be answering all of your questions in the chat. So please ask lots of questions as if you were in an actual classroom. And with that, Karina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
First, I just want to start off, there's no wrong question. Please feel free to ask whatever you want to know. I am full of knowledge. Today, we are going to be doing the curly crop top, and we're going to transition this into a fade. So this is probably one of the most popular haircuts today. Like, you're going to see this haircut a lot. No matter where you go, I probably get at least 3 or 4 of these haircuts in my shop every day. So I'm going to show you how to create this transition from a fade into long hair on top. And I'm going to show you how to style the straight version. And I'm going to show you how to create a curly version without getting a perm.
Amazing. And also, please stay to the very end of the live stream because we are doing a giveaway of a very special tool.
The dome flat iron. This is a very tiny dome. As you can see, this can be utilized in so many ways. I'm going to show you how to utilize this to create a curly look on top, or you can actually use it for your beards and mustaches. You can use it for your edges. There's just so many uses to this device.
And we're going to be giving it away to one live viewer free at the end of our course. So stick around to the very end.
Yeah, because who don't like free? If it's free, it's for me.
Amazing. Let's get right into it.
Let's go. All right. So let's talk about this first. All right, so this is my breakdown of the haircut. This is called hair mapping. I learned this through the hairbender. I am very excited to show you my fade steps. This is how I'm going to do my fade steps for this haircut. Sometimes we have to, transition into different types of fade steps for different types of haircuts, right? This is my hair map of the haircut. These are my projections, and this is how it's going to look to our shear work, the fade to the side. We're going to start this haircut off doing 5 vertical sections. I'm going to cut every section vertically. So that means I'm going to stand on the side of the head and project up and cut vertically in each section. So let's get it started.
So for this haircut, Karina, what tools are we going to need?
So first, before I start, we are going to be using our Hyper Veloce clippers, our Hyper Veloce trimmers, my Impacto, our Super Cobalt shears and texture shears. We're going to be using the Dome Flat Iron, our Cocco Air, and our new Aura brushes. Also, our little texture comb with the pick on the end from Cocco. And these are all tools that Cocco carry that you might not know that we carry.
Awesome. All right, let's get right into it.
Let's go. Let's show them the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So something great about Karina, and one of the reasons why we wanted her to be our first ambassador to Cocco Live is because, well, she's the best of both worlds. She knows how to do barbering, beauty, cosmetology, and we really think that this haircut really utilizes the best of both worlds.
It really does, because you're going to do a lot of shear work, you're going to have a lot of style in it, and you're going to be able to do a lot of fades with this. Now,
so you were mentioning back there some sort of mohawk.
Yes, this is our mohawk guide, and this is going to determine our length throughout the haircut. We are going to do this first mohawk guide. All your sections in the front, your first 5 sections will be a comb length, right? And you'll work from side to side. But for this particular haircut, we are going to work on the side of the head, and we're going to be projecting up, right? And then we're going to be cutting on a 45. When that means there's going to be an angle on a 45, right? So
Oh,
just like
I
in the
see the mohawk
projection, you see
now.
the mohawk?
Yeah.
So now how I've cut the bangs a little bit, so that's going to be our guide. Is where this bang starts is going to be our first cut, and then we're going to work, and all the cuts, the rest of that is going to look like this.
Okay.
So we're going to over direct the bangs to keep the links on the bang, and we're going to pull it up.
All right.
And
So
we're going to make our first cut. Grab my super cobalt shears.
so with this mohawk, why are we doing it like as a mohawk? Why is the front like longer than the back?
The front has to be longer to create bangs. So we want to create a weighted bang where it hangs longer in the front and then shorter into the back. That's going to create a nice layered look to the front and be able to keep the long bangs how everybody likes them.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a lot of young children, young kids come in and ask for this haircut because they like to leave their hair long and in their face. So when we make this cut, as you can see, we made this first mohawk guide, right? And we're going up, we're on 45. We're going to leave it back here, starting in the crown, we're going to go to a 90-degree angle, right? And
Mhm.
this 90-degree angle is going to travel all the way around the head. We're going to go here, vertical sections on a 45, and we're going to use this first initial mohawk guide to follow it throughout the rest of the head.
Amazing. So I see that the hair is wet. Is that important?
It is very important to cut wet, to create tension, to have a nice, smooth, precision haircut.
Okay. And I know that one of them is going to be curly. So do we have to like account for like extra length in the hair or anything like that to
So
make
anytime you
sure?
cut wet, just prepare. You always want it to have accountability of shrinkage because when the hair dries, it's going to shrink a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. So you want to have accountability for that and leave it just slightly longer than what you want in your initial style. But through the sides and through the crown, we're going to stay a little shorter. So you also want to have accountability for the wet shrinkage as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm starting to see the mohawk really coming together.
Now we're going to move to the other side. And you see I moved the mannequin around and I'm still going to stay on the side of the mannequin while I'm cutting. And I'm going to project up. But from this side, I'm going to start in the back. And you can see your guide is right there. You should take newspaper thin parting so you can be able to see your guide through and work your way to your front guide. Continuing on with that 45, you're going to over direct the bangs slightly. And we just keep on moving
All right.
through the top.
Yeah, I can see now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of sectioning that you put out before.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you make sure that it stays the same length throughout?
So that is a traveling guide. So that's basically what we did with the Mohawk guide in the middle, right?
Mhm.
Once we created that guide, that's our traveling guide. We're using that guide to create the length all the way around the head.
Okay. Okay. So I see.
See it? You see the layering happening already, right? From short to long.
Hmm.
So now as we move through to the back, we're going to take that back guide, right, which was slightly shorter than the front, and we're going to use this. We're going to project out at a 90-degree.
All right. And you
And
keep
we're going
saying
to,
90-degree. What am I looking at?
so we have 180 on
Mhm.
top of the head. And as soon as you come off the head, it's always 90. And we're coming straight out. That means we're coming straight out all the way around the head. So we're going to create a 90. Here is always going to be 180. over direction. Here is 90, going all the way around the head. Now that we moved to the crown, we're going to be taking vertical sections, and you're still going to keep them thin, an inch wide, and you're going to project it out and still follow that guide. You take just a little bit from each side, each section, project out at a 90, and follow that guide all the way around.
So Karina, when I think about barbers and making sure that they have an ability to do a lot of different things, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of barbers really have specialties. Like they have like a couple haircuts that they're really good at,
This is true.
and I feel like I get some barbers who are like, okay, like I really only do short hair, or some barbers that only do long hair, or beauticians that only do long hair. What do you feel like are the advantages to being able to do both?
I think the advantage is that you never have to turn nobody down, right? No matter what walks through that door in your shop, you can accommodate them, right? And that's an advantage because who wants to turn money down?
Mm.
We want to be able to accommodate anything that walks through the door because there's really no gender on haircuts. Haircuts, women are wearing fades nowadays. Men are wearing longer hair nowadays. So you need to be a very universal and learn all you can learn so you can, just accommodate the public and the new hairstyles that are coming in. Education is key. You're a forever student as a barber or cosmetologist.
So I see you like shaking up the hair
Hmm.
over and over again. Why are you doing that?
I'm watching the movement in the hair because I like to see like right where it's going to lay. If you look into the hair as I move it and shake it, right, that tells me right where my weight's going to end up.
Hmm.
And it's right about where I need it to be. But if I want to continue down and have the weight just a little bit lower, then I would just continue down with my vertical parting. And I'd bring it down just a little bit lower so I can keep the weight in the parietal ridge, which goes all the way around. We call it the hat band because it sits where a hat sits.
So you just use that term, parietal ridge. Is that what you
Hmm.
said?
That is correct.
What the? What is that? I do not know.
So in barber school and cosmetology school, we learn anatomy and we learn every bone, muscle, and nerve from the top of the head to the waist. And the reason why we learn that is because, especially in the head, is because when we're doing haircuts, we refer a lot to those bones or muscles. So our crown, our apex, our crown, our parietal ridge, our frontal, and our occipital bone. We need to know all of those to determine where we want to keep our haircuts and where things start and begin. It's coming along rather nicely. We're going to move around to the side of the head. Just going to continue to come back, check our work as I'm moving through, continuing to make vertical partings. Checking the length.
So Karina, I know that you've been cutting hair for a while, and part of what Cocco loves doing is our mission is to reveal our infinite dignity. I think for a lot of us today, especially in my generation, I'm about 25 years old, like we are as the most depressed generation in
So
history.
sad.
And I feel like barbers have like a real role to play because during school I was in COVID, right? And I was just completely isolated, and it was one of the toughest times for me mental health wise. So I was just wondering, like, in your opinion, like, what ways can like, barbers participate and help with that and with that isolation?
I just feel like being a barber in general is you play a big part in people's life, and a haircut can change you. It could make or break you. A good haircut will make you feel great for the next 2 weeks, and a bad haircut will make you feel not so great for the next 2 weeks, right? So it's very important to have a nice haircut or just to be that person that you can count on to make you feel good, you know? So many times we're like psychiatrists for our clients. And we listen to their problems. We're there with them through the good times and the bad times. And, you know, sometimes on the most important days of their life, whether they're
Mhm.
having a kid, hey, let me get a fresh cut, my son's about to be born, or my wedding, you know, and etc. I just feel like that it's very important to always give somebody a good haircut because it, you know, it could make them feel a lot better. They could be having a horrible day. They get a nice haircut. Now they feel like amazing.
Yeah. Even though I'm not a barber, since working at Cocco, um, I've learned to I've learned a lot about them. Like I've learned about like just everything. Oh yeah, what are you gonna do next?
So I'm going to just dry the sides a little bit because I'm going to move into the fade portion of the haircut. Right here, I done shortened the bangs. I left them about right at eye level, and that's for a reason because when it dries, it's going to shrink up. And like I said, we're going to style it straight on one side. So I'm going to go back and add a little texture to this straight side because usually when people wear their hair straight in this style, they want to be able to create lift but also a lot of movement and texture. So I'm going to blow dry one side. I'm going to actually blow dry the whole head real quick because I'm going to go into the clipper portion of the haircut. For
So
this, I like to dry the hair and I just like to dry it straight.
so I see like a lot of barbers, like my barbers, like do exactly what you're doing, like shake the dryer. Why do you guys do that?
We're shaking the dryer to move the hair around because when you move the hair around with ours, you know, we have the ion you know, button on our blow dryers, and that just loosens the hair up and gets all the water out of it. It just blows the water right off the hair, and it dries faster. So us doing this back and forth helps the hair to dry a little bit faster, right? I'm going to use the Aura brush because I would like to style this coming forward. So I'm going to actually brush it back, and then I'm going to use the blow dryer to push it forward. You see, I'm just using the blow dryer to roll the hair exactly where I want it to go. I'm using the blow dryer to be able to give the bang a little bit of curl. And you see, just by doing that, you can see all the movement from, you know, from the layers that we put in up there,
Yeah.
right? From shorter
He's kind of
to
looking
longer.
like Justin Bieber.
Yeah, he's definitely got a Bieber look right now. So now I'm going to start the clipper portion of the haircut. Now, when I said I'm going to walk my fade out, I wrote my fade steps up on the board, and I'm going to start out with the number 4. And the reason why I'm going to start out with this number 4 is because a 4 open blade is going to give me adequate enough hair to be able to blend that in using my shear over comb or clipper over comb, but leave a nice transition from long to short.
So what do you mean when you say open and close?
So when I say open and close, this means we're going to either do blade open, which is your lever all the way back, or blade close, which is your lever all the way up.
Okay.
And then 2 clicks back is half open. We're going to pretty much be working from open to close for the majority of this haircut.
Okay.
We're going to start out with our number 4. We're going to do open blade, and we're going to use this number 4 to come right up under the parietal ridge. So I'm going to use my comb to hold the hair down as I move my clipper up because that gives me a nice even cut and still know not to go above that comb. So it gives me a little control too. For all my newer barbers, this will help you feed the hair right into the blade and not chase your line.
Yeah. Yeah. You can really tell that I'm not a barber because I'm still like, oh, like, what does it mean when you say like chase your line?
So when you chase your line, it's just like you keep going up and up and up, way past the part that maybe you or your client didn't want to go past. Right here is where I want to leave it thick. So this thickness can blend right into the long hair up here on top, right? And now from here down, this is where my fade's going to stay below.
Okay.
That gives me a guide to not go above there with my clipper work at all.
Yeah, why start open and not closed?
Because I like to start open because it's more forgiving.
Okay.
It gives me a little bit of extra room to wiggle around, right? What if I need to go back in there and I'm going to blend this transition in using my texture shears, maybe a little clipper over comb action. It's not going to leave such a harsh line. As you can see, when I lift the hair up, right? You see how it just kind of blends already in to the hair. So that's why I start open. If I was to start closed, it leaves a harsher line that's not as easy to get out with my texture shears, and it just makes for a softer blend altogether.
So when they're open, right, that means like there's more, there's like it's cutting less close. Am I getting that
Yes,
right? Okay.
it's longer.
So then by keeping it longer, like you can do more with it. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like like if you've cut off the hair, you can't really go back
That's
and put it
right.
back on.
Hey, we can cut it off, but we can't put it back on, right? All right. So we're going to make sure you don't cut your bangs, right? When you come around to the front. So you kind of want to push that forward and push them out the way and let the natural fall happen from the top. Turn that so you guys can see that a little bit better. I'm going to come in. I'm going to hold that hair in place. I'm just going to work my way around the ear. Now we know if you've ever cut a mannequin, it's a little hard to go around the ear. So I just tilt my clippers on the side and work around the ear. I'm still not disturbing any of the transition that I want to leave full. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to check it to make sure it's even on both sides, right? We want to make sure we have the proper amount of bulk left behind on both sides. So I kind of like to look at my mannequin head on, and I like to look at the mannequin head on and kind of just put my hands there or just look at it and eye it to make sure that it's even on both sides. I'm going to leave this drop down just a little bit in the back just to create a fuller back look. Usually on this haircut, they'll want to leave this fuller. And then we're going to work our way right up to that. Next step, we're going to go ahead and use our number 2. And I'm going to jump guard. So I'm going to go 4, 2, 1, open, close, liner, shaver.
Okay.
And and by the time we're done, our fade should be almost all the way done. And there's going to be next to nothing to blend in.
So I feel like this like way of like step by step, like there's so many steps. Is that like the process that all barbers are
No,
doing?
there's 100 ways to skin a cat. So every barber has their own way of doing it.
So why do you like doing it this way?
I like doing it because if I never set a line in, I never have one to take out, right? And I never have one to chase. So now I got my number 2 on there. I left the 2 open. I'm going to go right around the ear, and I'm just going to go right under where I left off here with my number 4, right up under it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now I'm starting to remember the thing that you had on the board,
Right?
where you were talking about all the lines. That makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. So the
I
lines
didn't
on
understand what that meant.
my haircut map is basically breaking my fade down. So I'm going to tilt my fade down, my mannequin down just slightly.
Oh, my
There
barber
we
tells me to do that too.
Yes, it makes for a smoother glide up the back of the neck with your clippers. So we're going to stop maybe about a pinky length under each attachment as we go down. We're working just right up under where we left off. Go back around the ear. I'm going to slant my clippers again on the side. And I'll work up from the bottom. So I don't chase my line. And
Yeah.
again, the same answer for that is if you never put a line in, you never have a line to take out.
So for me, who like doesn't know anything about barbering, I know you explained a little bit before, but like when people put in a line, what are they doing? Are like they
So some people like to start their fades by just taking their trimmers and setting in a hard line and then going from the line and blending it out. I find this method a little faster and smoother, and I feel it really creates a more stretched out version of the hair of the fade. And I think it just looks smoother, but that's also my opinion. Some people just love to start with, they need a guideline. It's a little bit, okay, so let me say it like this. Some people need guidelines and some people need grids, right? And the way I cut it, it's like a grid. So I know that if there's something in this area right here that I need to blend out, I know I can go back to my 4 and probably work it out, or to my 2 and work it out, because it's leaving me in each area. I know exactly what I use, so I know I can go back to how to counteract anything that I set in.
so it's more forgiving.
Yes, more forgiving. All right, so now we're gonna go to my number 1. And now, mind you, each time I put on my detachment, I am leaving my clipper open.
Okay.
I'm only gonna close it after this. So now I come back in with my number 1. I have it open and I'm gonna hit just the bottom. We're doing a low fade on this.
Okay. I think I'm starting to understand. So you're leaving it open so that if you do need to go back to your sections where you did the number 1, you could close it a little bit more if you needed to fade it in more.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and work my way around. I'm coming down just a little bit more each time I come. And for this number 1, I'm gonna go just slightly behind the ear just a little bit, because we're kind of gonna leave the ear, but the ear is not necessarily going to get balded out. We're gonna bring this fade down just a little bit lower. Any questions on the live for me as I'm working my way around?
There's a lot of comments about the people's preferences about down fitting.
So what's the common denominator? Do you think it's more down fading or up fading?
Well, the above style barbers is dependent on what you're comfortable with.
This is true. And it also really depends on the haircut. So if I'm doing a taper, I might start it out with a hard line. But if I'm doing any type of fade, I like to walk it out. It just really depends on the style of the haircut that the person wants. For me, on what I'm going to do. Also, it depends on, I also kind of go off the texture of the hair. So if I have fine hair, I'm not gonna ever put a hard line in anybody that has fine hair. Big, children, people with thin, fine hair. Also, just ladies. I tend to never put hard lines on ladies because it's a little harder to blend out for me. But that's my preference. All right, so now, actually, let me put my 1 back on. We're gonna do 1 close all the way around the edge. And I'm starting out at a 0 flat against the head. And then as I move up into the longer hair, I'm going to stand it up and I'm gonna elevate, where I'm gonna kind of slant my clipper off the head on about a 45 angle. The elevation is very forgiving, to where if I'm going up into the longer hair that I've already previously cut, is not gonna create no lines of demarcation. It allows me to fade right into it. And then as I go around the head, I might be able to work out some dark spots just by standing my clippers up on a 45 or a 90. So I'm holding the clipper right now, straight up, pretty much on a 90. And I'm just kind of raking it into the longer hair. And I'm blending out anything that, I find that's dark areas as I come through my fade.
So you said 0, 45, and 90. What?
Yep. So we have a 0, a 45, and then I stand it all the way up on a 90. And this is more for blending, right? A 45 is more for blending and fading, and then this is for straight fading.
Okay.
So 45 is blending, debulking, but a 90 is just debulking. It's very forgiving. I can do this and I can pretty much do my whole haircut from this to this without attachments if I choose.
So it helps with control and precision.
Control, precision, blending, all of it.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking, why do you like the hyper clippers?
Yeah. Why do you like the hyper veloce?
I like the hyper veloce because of the motor. It can plow through any type of hair. I do lots of different types of hair, whether it's thin and straight to thick and curly. And I know that this clipper here is going to plow through all of them. I also prefer the AccuBlade, the AccuFade blade, because it gives me the best of both worlds. It gives me a fade blade and a taper blade all in one.
Well, you really do love the best of both
I
worlds.
really do,
Yeah.
because everything I do is like the best of both worlds, right? I'm constantly doing, my clientele could be anything. I could have 3 different ladies' haircuts. I could have 5 fades. I could have 2 tapers. I could have 4 designs. I could have 2 shear cuts. Like, I really am a universal barber. So I never know what my day is going to look like. It could be some of everything, which is great because I can offer anything to them. All right, so now we're moving into the open clipper portion of this haircut. So now we've done, just to recap, we've done 4, 2, 1. And now we're going to go into open, close, liner, shaver. Now, for the open part, I'm only going to go through the nape and through the temple. I'm starting out open, starting out 0 flat against the head. As I come into the area where I used my 1, I'm going to elevate slightly and kind of just blend that in, because as I go through this fade, I pretty much want to finish my fade. I don't want to have to go back and fine tune too much of anything. It's going to help with my speed to keep me on track in my day at the shop. As you can see on this side, as the fade is coming together rather nicely. So I'm going to slant my clipper on a 45 right here. So these teeth right here does not disrupt anything that I've already previously cut in.
Yeah, I feel like the way that you cut, Karina, is very like foundational. Everything builds on each other. Like
This is
you
true.
don't need to really touch the stuff that you did at the top and use your scissors. And as you go into your fade, you're super careful about
I'm
making
very
sure.
precise, and I watch exactly where my blade is cutting at all times. So the view that you guys have right now on this live is pretty much my eye view and what I'm watching. I watch the hair go into my blade. I'm very precise with every cut I take, because my fade, by the time I'm done with these steps, are pretty much is already going to be done. This is another reason why I choose to fade this way rather than putting a hard line in the haircut.
Yeah.
I really want to start doing designs. Are the Cocco trimmers good for designs?
They are literally the best for designs. If you check out my Instagram, you will see all the designs that I do. And I can tell you this right now, I never use a razor in my designs. I only use my Cocco Hyper Veloces.
So Karina, have you always done barbering? Like, when did you start?
So I actually started out with Cos, and I got my Cos license in high school. I was able to graduate high school with my license to cut hair and my diploma. Um, I went and transferred over into barbering when I started competing, which was about 10 years ago. And when I started competing, people were always like, "Oh, you're not even a barber," and I was winning all these trophies. So I was like, you know what? All right, let me go back to school. And I went back and got my barber's license as well. So I actually hold all license. I'm educator in both cos and barber, and
Yeah, it seems like
yeah, so I have 4 license.
yeah, 16 is pretty early. High school is pretty early for starting cosmetology or vocational school. Is there any reason why I guess you were grinding so hard?
Yes, I had my son when I was 16 years old, so I needed to be able to provide for him, and I was very fortunate to be able to go. My school had a vocational school that you could go to and get a trade, and they offered the COS program through there. But um, they also did childcare, so I was able to take my son with me to
Really?
school, and so being a teen mom, I didn't have to worry about daycare. I was able to just bring him with me, drop him off at the childcare class, which was right across the hallway from the cos room, and I was able to graduate high school.
Wow, that sounds hard.
It was hard, but I'm very fortunate to be able to have that.
Yeah,
So I'm going to now close my clippers. So I'm going to close them all the way, and I'm going to hit here in the temple and right along the edge of my nape. I'm going to start in the nape. With mannequins, I like to get all those little hairs off the hairline of there, and I'm just going to work my way up. Now, with this being closed, I like to work on a 90. So a lot of this portion of this, when I'm working with a closed clipper, I'm always standing my clippers up. And the reason why is because, like I said, you're going to hear me say this over and over again, it's very forgiving. It's not going to create lines of demarcation as I'm going through my fade. It's actually going to create a more stretched out look. I'm going to correct anything that's dark left behind, moving into the side. I'm going in very close, 0. And then as I work my way up, I'm going to stand my clippers up and you'll see the fade just go right in there.
yeah. I really love
I'm going to open
how
it back up.
careful and forgiving you are with your haircuts because I think that it's really important not to make any mistakes.
Yes, because we
So,
want to have a clientele, right? We want clients to keep coming back. And because pay so close of attention to detail and everything that I do, it keeps me
yeah,
booked.
I think for me, especially having some experience with like some mental health struggles, and I know that a lot of people my age are having those mental health struggles. I feel like I feel like part of I guess depression and one of the things that leads into it, I think, is really being hard on yourself. So I think a lot of people my age focus on any little imperfection about ourselves. And
Hmm.
so like I feel like myself when life was really tough and I was really hard on myself, especially when I was isolated and during COVID, I would when I would have a bad haircut, I think I would really freak out because I would like look at every little thing that could be wrong with the haircut, and I don't know, I sort of fed into my own.
A haircut is usually the first thing that people look at. When you meet somebody, you look at their haircut, you look at their appearance, and your appearance is everything. You only get one first impression, right? So the haircut is very important. And we
Yeah,
need to be able to, as barbers and stylists, we need to be able to create beautiful haircuts on everybody.
yeah.
And that's up to us for continuing education.
I
All
think
right.
it's mhm.
So now I've finished with the 0 part of my haircut, right? And now we're going to move right into our trimmers. So what I'm going to do, now this is a little trick. Now, Instagram, I hope that maybe some of you do this, maybe some of you don't. Maybe I'll teach you something new today. I like to work off the steel blade of my trimmer because like a broken record in here. It's very forgiving, right? So if I go up, right, and I'm working off the still of my blade, as I go up, I can elevate it
So the still is the
almost.
bottom.
The still is the non-moving blade,
Okay.
right? And you have your moving blade on the inside. This is the one that does all the magic and all the cutting. But if I turn it around and work from behind, right, I can use that still blade to just go in there and float across the hair and create a nice blend. And then I can turn it back around and try to get some of these hairs off to make it a little smoother. Hopefully they'll come off with the shaver. But now I'm gonna come here and I'm going to work off the still blade. You see how I'm just slightly gliding across the bottom?
It's almost like open and close, like for the trimmer.
Exactly, exactly.
So just even
It's very
more
similar,
range.
but it's going to create more of a blurry, like a blurry effect. I know all my barbers out there are gonna know what I'm talking about, and everybody wants to do a blurry fade, right? But anytime I'm doing this, this is like I said, I never create lines. I'm always working off the more forgiving side of the clipper. I work from side to side. I'm not really ever too flat on my any of my fades, and I'm working on the bottom. So I'm gonna flip it around. I'm trying to get all these little hairs off the hairline so we can really stretch this fade out when I move into my impacto.
Yeah, and I think like it's so good and so important not to make any mistakes because people are important, right? Like
This is right.
I think from all the barbers I've met, like one of the things that I hear all the time is how much of an impact they have on people's lives, which was really incredible and amazing to me. And really, how I think about it is barbers like clean the most important mirrors in the world. Like that's like the analogy I use. Like
Right.
when people come into a barber shop, sometimes their mirrors are dirty, right? Like sometimes they can't see themselves well. Like either like it's trauma or like some negative voice they have in their head, like they can't see themselves clearly. And like barbers through every single cut and shave and precise movement, as well as like you said, you guys are like therapists,
Right.
right?
Therapist. I like that.
And every single time you talk to them and love them well.
Okay, so sorry,
Yeah,
DJ,
go
I don't
ahead.
mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to create my little arc right here,
Okay.
okay? So right here, I would like to comb the hair down and I see my bang, but I want to make this kind of match together. So what I'm going to do is I use my finger, my middle finger, as my guide, almost like a protractor. Isn't that what they're called? Where you
Yeah.
have the little thing and it creates this perfect circle, right? That's the same thing as I do with my nail. So I put my finger there, right? It creates a foundation for my hand to be steady. And then I just come right around and create a small arc in here. I want to create like a really round one. There.
Oh,
Yeah. So not
like
well,
magic.
I mean, it's a little hard to do. It would look so much better on a live person, but we're getting it in there. So on this side, you see it's a little bit thicker right here still.
Mhm.
So I can fix that. Create that in there. And then I'll come back in and probably clip over comb that or shear over comb that. Just to create a little smoother effect there. All right, now we're gonna go in here and I'm going to come back and I'm going to clean all this weight line up after my impacto. We're going to be using our impacto now. Let me move this head straight. And I'm going to go all around the hairline. Impacto shaver has the moving blade in the middle, so it allows me to even go up into the longer hairs if I want on my fade. And I can really just go in real close at the bottom. Try to get this as close as I can. But as I come up, I'm going lighter, right? So I'm letting the impactos float on the hair to almost blend it in and create a faded look using my impactos to do it, right? Has anybody on here ever used their shaver to fade? What's the
Let me
live
check.
saying?
Does everybody have to waterproof?
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. They're waterproof. We can drop them in the water. They'll run underwater for up to 30 seconds. You can take them in the shower with you and have them for home use,
How
for
often,
manscaping or ladyscaping.
how often do you drop them in the water?
Not too often, but I do use them on like wet bald heads. So I'll hot towel my guys that get bald heads, right? I'll hot towel them, and then I'll be able to use my impactos right after that because they'll cut under wet conditions as well.
Yeah, they do have reactions on the stage with the shaver.
Oh, nice. Look, what do you guys think about this fade? You can leave me out of the picture. Whoop.
Yeah, you can just put. So smooth, like butter, like
There's people
magic.
saying this. So look, not too bad for a mannequin fade, right? All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work this weight line into this line, right? We still kind of want to leave it heavy, but we also want it to create a more blended version of the heaviness, right? So a lot of times I don't want to be aggressive with this blend, so I'm not going to use clipper over comb. I'm going to use my Cocco texture shears, right? Texture shear over comb, and I'm going to put my comb on a 0, right? Flat against the head. And anytime when I get to that long hair right there, that's where I'm going to start cutting. I use my shears to hold the hair where I left off to regroup in my comb. And I'm just working straight up, still on that 90. Remember, we used our shears. And when we were cutting our vertical sections, we were still holding the hair out on a 90. We're doing the same thing with our texture shears and our comb.
So why do you guys have like texture shears? Like why do they have like those teeth? I only use
So
scissors.
let me show you this. Look at these teeth and look at this clipper.
Oh yeah,
Now,
they're very
if the
similar.
teeth were not serrated as much, they would be just like the clipper blade, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we like to use these for. We like to create textured look, which I'll show you on this the straight side, how I'm going to create pizza slices to create texture and movement. I like to cut with my texture shears a lot because it leaves the ends textured, right? And when we have textured ends look like this, right? Blunt cut ends look straight across. It's just straight look. But when you take blunt cut and put them together, it don't really lock together, right? It's just you're going to see a lot of cut lines. But if you cut with texture shears, you leave the ends of the hair looking like this. So then what do you put the hair together? What does it do?
It looks
It
more
locks
blended.
together, right? It locks together and holds together. So now if I wanted to, I could create lift.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? It's
wait,
going to
what?
create lift, but also create movement. So if we're styling,
Oh,
it's going to look better and it's a smoother blend because I'm all about smooth blends, right?
wait, that was like magic. Like it just stayed.
Oh, you think that's magic? Wait till you see what we do in the front. So now I'm going up here and I'm creating, I'm just staying on my 90. I might be just blending a little, any type of weight line out, any lines of demarcation. I'm staying at the bottom of my fade because I want to keep most all this weight up here.
Hmm. So you use the term lines of demarcation a couple times. What does that mean?
Those mean like weight lines. So anytime you're doing a fade, lines of demarcation is going to be dark lines through the fade. So, you know, a fade's supposed to be totally blended all the way through
Mhm.
up to the line, the weight line of the long hair on top. But sometimes that don't always happen. That's also one of the reasons why I do not set harsh lines in my haircuts.
So like someone who like maybe was a little overambitious and like put in a very heavy line, probably wouldn't be able to take it out.
You can take it out. You're just gonna have to really work on it and then know your fade steps to know wherever you put that line in and what you're gonna have to use to counteract to take it out.
Hmm. So just more work for you.
It's correct. Very, very
It's not
much more
fatal.
work.
It's just more work.
Just a lot more work. Now, you can either do this with your texture shears, which takes just a little bit more time rather than doing it clipper over comb. But the reason why I want to do it with my texture shears is because as I'm moving up here on the side of the head, I want to create this rounded, still a rounded look. So as I'm coming off, even though I'm holding the hair out on a 45, I'm following the round of the head. That way, see how that stayed up like that? A lot of people like to style this look
Okay.
like that. So they'll wear it up and out and see how that's already creating a lot of lift and
I
texture in
didn't
there.
realize like your haircut could help you style your hair.
Oh, of course,
I thought they
it's
just
very
cut it.
important. Your tools are very important. Your angles are very important. Your projections are very important. Everything determines on that the way the hair is going to lay after the haircut.
Hmm. Which is again why you're like shaking the hair so often.
That is right, because
You see how
I'm
it lays.
watching how it lays and how it's going to fall because I know how I'm going to style this hair, or I also know how the client styles his hair. The first thing I do in consultation when I'm talking to my client is I give them a comb and I ask them to style their hair. I face them to the mirror.
Oh.
I said, show me how you style your hair at home. And then after I watch them do that, I ask them, now, what kind of haircut do you normally get? What are you looking to achieve today? Like, what's your look? What's your desired look? A lot of people have an inspiration picture, but if they don't, then you need to really just break the haircut down. You need to go through full consultation. You have to break it down to the most minute detail. Okay, I want to fade. Okay, well, what kind of fade would you like? Would you like a high, medium, low fade? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, maybe they don't want to fade and they're just calling it a fade and they really could want to taper. So these are things that you really need to talk. Consultation is the most important part of being a barber or a stylist.
Yeah. I feel like I've done like quite a few haircuts in my life where I did not get the haircut that I wanted. Like I don't know why. When I sit in a chair, I kind of get nervous. I'm like, just do whatever you want. I don't know.
Right.
You're the professional. And like it's so cool that you ask them to style your hair because I feel like I've gotten haircuts where when I try to style it the way it normally does, it's like, oh, that doesn't look right. Like I like to style it to the right, and like if they don't know that, then I feel like
Right.
when I
Then
push
they're
it to
going
the
to take
right,
too
it's
much.
gonna look
They're going to take too much weight
weird.
out of the right if they don't know you style it to the right. But as a barber, you know, they should also pay attention to the way your hair was styled when you came in,
Okay.
right? Or however it was laying when you came in through the door.
Wow. So you're like looking at your like client even when they're coming in and like sizing them up,
Oh, for
basically.
sure. And I'm looking to the way their style is in general, because you know you want the haircut to fit the person's personality. Your haircut is just a reflection. Your haircut and your fashion is a reflection of your personality. You might have somebody that's a little bit more reserved, and you might have somebody that's a little bit more open to, new things and crazier styles. All right, this is coming along real nice. What do you guys think, Instagram? Give me some feedback.
A lot of positive comments.
Well, that's good. You guys are liking what you see?
Looking awesome. Awesome mannequin. Clean.
Nice. We love this for us.
Do you have favorite tools or like most useful tools in your kit?
Yes, my favorite tools by far are the Cocco trimmers, the Cocco Air, and our new shears, the Super Cobots. They literally are my most favorite shear, the way that the blade is designed to pull the hair in instead of pushing the hair out as we cut is so important to me because a lot of times I cut dry or I cut wet. It doesn't matter either way. I'm cutting. It's not pushing the hair away from me. It gives me a very precise cut every time.
So how does it? You said that it pull the shears pull it in.
So with this right here, the way our blades are designed, right? Let me clean them off a little bit. The way our blade is designed, see how this one's smaller and this one's larger?
Yeah.
And then we have a little bit of a concave on the inside. When you cut the hair, instead of pushing, a lot of shears push the hair away from you. This one pulls the hair back in. So it makes for a clean, precise cut every time, right? So I can do this and I don't have to worry about the hair bending in any sort of way. It's going to make a precise
Oh.
cut every time.
Yeah, I think I
For
can.
all my precision hair cutters out there, these are definitely the shears for you. I'm more of a mix between condensed cutter and maybe a tiny bit, a sprinkle of precision haircut in there. But for the most part, I'm more of a condensed French method hair cutter.
So what is all these methods you're talking about?
So
Condensed.
condensed method is where we take a lot, right? And you might have little tricks to where you might just razor it. You're not taking partings, right? So precise partings to the side, and you're doing very precise parting work, right? That's a condensed or a precision cutter. I'm a condensed cutter where I'm kind of just cutting the way I want the hair to lay, so that it will lay like that all the time.
Okay. So it's going to be not just like the cut that they'll get when you get styled, but also the cut they'll have after their shower.
Yeah, it always looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
See,
That's
I'm
probably
doing
pretty good
this
for
right
a
now.
yeah.
I'm doing this shear over comb, right? It's not pushing my hair away. I can actually go in here and do minute details without pushing hair away. It's going to be a very precise haircut.
Yeah, it's like staying in the blade.
Always. All right, so here I think I want to do a little bit of a clipper over comb action. Let me actually get a comb because I don't have the comb that I need. Actually, I could just use this one. Let me see if this one will work. Because I just want to get right here and just a little bit of this box. Okay. Oh, okay, thank you. Appreciate you. Actually, will take that home. Thank you very much. So when I'm coming through and I'm doing cover work, I am coming through and I'm looking for anything that's sticking out, right? Because right through here, where I use my number 2, I want to make sure it's even all the way through. And you see how I'm holding my comb out?
Yeah.
I come in on a 0 and then I pull the comb out on a 45. And then what I'm doing here is I'm folding the comb out. When the hair at the top drops out and the hair at the bottom drops out, anything left between needs to come off. So that tells me that it's uneven.
I feel like you double check your work a lot.
I do.
How many times, like in the haircut, do you like, oh, like I need to double check a section or like
I'm
look at it over
constantly
again?
cross-checking through my work. Every great barber or cosmetologist is always going to cross-check their work, as you should. You want the haircut to be nice and even because how you can tell whether you had a good haircut or not is the grow out.
Okay.
Because the grow out's going to show you every cut that you left or that you didn't leave. It's going to be a smoother grow out on a good haircut.
So like the haircut will last longer also.
Yeah, it's going to look nicer on the grow out. I don't know about last long. Everybody's hair goes same amount of time. Some people's hair goes a little faster than others. All right.
Nice.
There.
Wow.
I like this. I might just go
Can
back
you do
over
my hair
here.
now?
I sure will, DJ. Come on over. I got you. I'm just gonna go back and smooth this out just a little bit more before I go into the style portion of this haircut. All right. Looking good, guys. Looking good. So this side, we're gonna leave just a tad bit longer because this is the side where I'm gonna do the curls on.
Okay.
This side over here, I'm going to keep straight. So I wanna create more of a textured look. And to do that, I'm gonna keep following it all the way up and around, like I said on the other side, right? I'm gonna smooth all this out because I need this all to be smooth because I know it's staying straight. Once I comb it out, now I'm going to add some texture and some movement in it. So what I do is I open my texture shears, pizza slice, right? And then I take this pizza slice and I set it down on the hair. I close the hair and I pull. Close the hair, pull, pizza slice, pizza slice, pizza slice. Now I'm gonna go in between those slices like we're bricklaying and do pizza slices and come all the way down, right? And
Whoa.
these are going to be textured, very textured, but you're not going to be able to see these slices. These are going to be almost invisible if I comb my hair out, right? So I'm going to take a couple little pizza slices through the side here, and now I'm going to comb it. And you see, we can't even see where we put those in it, right? But if I do this, look at
Whoa.
that movement and texture left behind.
Yeah, it's like it's
Beautiful.
flowing.
Right? So now on this bang area, because I know that he's gonna wear it straight on this side, let's put him back up straight here. And I'm gonna comb him straight down. And I'm gonna check these bangs out. I don't like how it looks really bulky here. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come straight up, cut and pull out. Straight up, cut and pull out. And I'm gonna continue doing that all the way through. And I'm just gonna keep doing it until I get my desired look. I want it to be moving, but I don't want it to be thick. I want it to have a little bit of texture through the bang. So when I move it like this, and then I'm going to take it and I'm gonna stand it up, and you see this little point right here? I'm gonna take that out, but I'm going to use, back up a little bit, I'm going to use my texture shears to take that out. And I'm gonna look at this, I'm gonna find that little point, and I'm going to do it again. And that's going to add lift in those bangs. And it's going to take the thickness out. And when I put texture powder in there, it's going to show every little cut and movement that I put in it.
Like a big reveal.
It's a big reveal. The product reveals everything. I'm trying to get this little smoother right there because I like that to be a little smoother on this side. See the movement coming in there? Beautiful. Now on this side, remember it was thick over here? Now I kind of want to counteract this thickness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the hair and over direct it back, right? But I'm over directing it back, but I'm actually moving up the head. So watch what happens when I go back down. You see it? The thickness is coming out, right? I'm going to move it back forward a little bit. This mannequin will work for me and do exactly what I need it to do. Any questions from anybody on Instagram on anything that I'm doing?
Antonio Ross is asking who's your favorite teammate.
Actually, it would, you know what? I love all of you guys so much. But I do call Antonio, I do like to question Antonio a lot on education. I do that. I don't know if I have a favorite because they're all my favorite. So I'm going to come back through, move some of that weight of the bangs on the curly side as well. I want to take just a little bit out in that corner that we was leaving behind. Okay, we're going to check the bangs to make sure that they're nice and even all the way across. And actually, this is what I like to do. This is a little, I'm gonna switch combs real quick. This is a nice little trick of the trade. So I'll take it, right? And I'm gonna put my shear underneath, but as I'm coming up, I'm moving up, right? Regroup my hair. Now I can come back and it's not so straight across. It gives it a little bit more of a textured effect. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. See it coming together. A little longer right here than I want it to be. So I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. Okay. I want it to be a little long because remember this is gonna be the side we're gonna put the curls in. So I wanna leave it just a tad bit longer on that side. Back here, I do want it to have a little texture because I do plan on spiking this piece up a little bit. So I'm gonna go back and do some more pizza slices through there. Okay, now we're on to the style proportion of this haircut. And what I'm going to do is we'll save the straight side for last, but I'm going to go ahead. This is how fast this dome iron gets hot. Turn it on right now, right? And just the amount of time it takes for me to section off this hair, comb everything to the side. I'm just going to use a clip because I'm going to start in the front first in the bang area, and I'm going to work my way back. Now.
Oh, it's already hot?
It's already hot. Let's see how hot it is. And now this hair is still a little bit damp. And I kind of want to leave it damp because it's going to give it a little bit smoother, right? You see it? And you see how I just let the iron do the work, right? So I'm going to take the little piece of hair. You want to take about a finger length piece section. You're going to start at the base and you're going to start rolling, right? So as I start rolling, the hair is just sliding through the dome iron. And bam, we got a curl, right? So now I want to go, if I go this way, the next one is going to go this way. We're going to kind of go back and forth, back and forth.
And why do you go back and forth?
Because it's going to create a more natural looking. Not every curl should be the same, going in the same direction. So that one, let's get that. Let's just a little bit more curlier. So bam, there we go. One more for good measure here in the bang. And we're just spinning, 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 bam, right? Now we're gonna pull back down another section. I'm keeping my sections about a 1/2 inch wide as I'm coming through the hair. Now here on this one, because I went in on this bottom one, I'm gonna come out on this one. So I'm just spinning, 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 bam, curl.
So how do you make sure that like you don't burn yourself or the
So with
client?
these flat irons, they're a little warm on the side, but I could still touch it because see these little finger grips right there? I can hold it if I need to.
Oh,
A lot of times you can also use a comb, a rat tail comb, to hold the curls so you don't burn yourself because it does get hot if you're going to continue to do this all day. But the good thing about this flat iron is that after a certain time, say you leave it on, after a certain time, the flat iron will shut off on its own. So it just won't stay on.
so I can't leave the flat iron running.
And no, or forget, or you know what I'm saying, cause any type of damage. So then just keep spinning, spinning, spinning. And we're creating a nice curly look on this side. All right. And then as I go, I can kind of stretch these curls down. Now, if you want to leave the bang a little bit longer, it'll give you more of a longer effect in the front. And we're going to just keep working our way back here. Now you can see I'm moving pretty fast with this. It's pretty, you're going to have to practice a few times, but if you practice a few times and get it down, you're going to be able to move super fast. But the benefit of this is the person could have this curly look and they could create it themselves or come back to you for you to create it, and they don't have to get a perm. They can have literally the best of both worlds. They could have it straight sometimes, and then they could wear it curly sometimes, instead of doing really bad damage to your hair by perming it. You could just curl it.
Yeah.
Any comments from Instagram? Anybody have any questions on this?
Somebody says, "No, those are fire. Love how it gets so close without irritating the forehead for a live person."
Yep.
Yeah, I am Asian, so I have very straight hair. So it's kind of cool
I
to.
would like to be able to do this haircut on one of maybe you, DJ, and create this curly version because it will work on your hair too.
Wow. Yeah, we'll see what my fiance says.
You might like this for you.
Maybe.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to get her approval.
What the name of the iron is called?
This is the Dome Stiletto Flat Iron by Cocco. And you want to see it up close. It does have different, let's see, we can go to 420, 430. It starts out at 410, right? 410 goes down to 400. It goes all the way down for a lower setting to 210. And then it goes all the way up to 450.
So why is it so thin at the top? Like
So this could be utilized for so many different things. You could do the curls right here. You could use it for edges. You could also use it for mustaches, beards. It could be used really in the barbershop for numerous of things and in the beauty shop. Again, best of both worlds, right? And a lot of people probably don't even know that we offer a whole line of styling tools that barbers need, because this is what we do know. A lot of these longer hairstyles that require styling are coming into our world, and we need to learn how to accommodate for these guys.
Yeah. And how much are you like able to charge for like this kind of extra styling or like this kind of haircut?
Well, I would definitely do some research in your area and like call around to your top salons and things like that and seeing what they're charging. But I'm gonna tell you what, 9 times out of 10, cosmetologists get like anywhere from 50 to 60 for just the haircut. That's not including the style, that's not including the shampoo. That they do all the styling like a la carte. So
Mm.
you could add onto your haircut and make your ticket price a lot higher.
Mm.
See how I'm just twisting and twisting, right? Creates
Yeah.
just the curls. Now we're almost to the back already.
So what do you do to make like small talk with your client?
I usually ask them about their day and whether they have any plans this weekend. I try to always remember at least one or two things that they mentioned at their last haircut, because that shows them that we care. Oh, like, oh, they remembered, you know what I'm saying? So that's just part of good customer service, is to remember something that your client said or something that they mentioned that they were having, like a wedding or a vacation. Hey, how was that wedding? How was that vacation that you talked about last time you were going to, or that event, whatever the case may be.
Wow, how do
And
you remember all those things?
it's hard, but once you start learning your clients, you really just you remember. You
Mm.
remember their haircuts, you remember like exactly what they got going on in their life, their wife's names, their kids' names. As a good barber, you need to remember.
I always feel so seen when like I go to someone and get my haircut done twice and they're like, same thing as last time. And it's like, yeah, they
Yeah,
just know
exactly.
what I got last time.
And you see how that made you feel? So
Yeah.
it's like important for us to know things like that. All right, so we're getting to the back now. We're working through the little nitty gritty here. Keep doing these little spirals, and we're just curling, curling, curling. Bam, see how fast that little curl came out? Look at that, beautiful. Perfect. And you know what? This is also good for like pixie cuts. A lot of people are doing silk presses with them and adding the little curls and doing the little curled pixie with them. Our educator Keisha and Roberta, they do amazing haircuts. That's how I got introduced to using the dome, is watching them, and I was like, oh man, this is really cool. This would be cool on the barber end too. So shout out to Miss Keisha and Miss Roberta, our educators, our stylists.
Yeah, I know that we like have talked about it a little bit throughout the cut, but what do you think? How do you think barbers can help, especially with like mental health and having those opportunities to see their clients all the time? Like, what role do you think barbers should play in all of that?
I think that we play a huge role in it. I just really feel like you need to stay connected with your clients, check in on them. When I don't see my client for a while, especially if it's somebody that's been coming to me for a long time, I check in. Like, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Everything good? You know? And like, and they'll hit me up like, oh, it's just been kind of hard times and this and that. I offer them a haircut. When I hear that my client is, especially somebody that's been with me for years and years, and they're going through hard times, they're like, hey man, come in, I got you. I got you on this haircut. It's on me this
Oh,
time.
wow.
Just come in. I just want to help out in some way, shape, or form. Or hey, I lost my job and trying to get another job. Hey, come in, let me give you a haircut. Maybe it'll help you find a new job. Like I just really try to be present with my clients. For all my long-term VIP clients, I give them free haircuts on their birthday
Mm.
because I just want to give back in some sort of way. And I think that being that barber and just letting your clients know that you're always there for them, no matter what, goes so long. It goes a long way. Just being, ouch, a nice human. Pinched myself. Look at that. So we did all of that pretty fast. We got a nice look on that side, right? So this side, I'm gonna kind of do a couple bend the ends, right? I'm just gonna bend the ends a little bit here to create a little bit of a movement and a real textured look on this side. I want to create a little volume. So I'm lifting the ends up and I'm pulling out. So I'm starting at the base and I'm kind of bending
Mm.
the base and I'm pulling out. So then I'm coming here. I'm going to do it again right here. Let's come in close. Let's see. Let's try to get in here. All right, let me show you. So I'm going to pick up a little section, right? I'm going to take my flat iron. I'm going to bend going up and out. And it just gives it a little bit of movement. Not so straight effect. Just bends the ends under a little bit, but you'll be able to really see it when I add the texture powder to it. And then back here, I want to create like a really lifted effect. So I'm going to bend the roots up. Create that real straight textured look. All right. So I'm going to.
Somebody was asking, how long do curls last? And how can they last longer?
Yeah, how long do the curls last?
The curls will last as long as you don't like really sleep too hard on it or wash it. You can leave the curls in and you could probably just freshen it up here and there throughout maybe a couple days. It's something that
wow.
you're definitely gonna have to teach your client to do an upkeep on, right? But from straight on one side and curly on the other, let's add a little texture powder.
Oh, I love
On
texture
one
powder.
side. Texture powder is definitely my #1 styling agent for every type of haircut, whether it be straight, curly, something needs a little volume. Of course, all of our textured mullets that we're doing these days, right? So I'm just
Oh,
gonna
wow,
create
yeah.
a
I
lot
can
of
see all the
movement,
movement.
but on this side, I kind of want to give it a little bit of a spiky look.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna let it stand up and see that texture powder allows all that to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lift it up because I like to put the texture powder in the roots. And then I rub it in that. And then I can create lift and more of a textured, messy crop looking. All right. All right.
We have an internet question.
Mhm.
Does Cocco Hair have heat protectant products, or are there any recommendations on heat protection?
We
have heat
we
protection
do have a
products.
cocoa serum, and it's a heat protecting serum. We can use that before you start your desired style using any like blow dryers or anything like that. We do offer a cocoa serum.
Wow, it's really cool to see like both sides. Bless you. Bless you.
One thing about that powder, it makes me sneeze every time. Okay, so one more time. Lord have mercy. Okay, so now I'm going to use a different type of texture. I'm going to use a texture spray on the curl side, right? And I'm going to just kind of just go in there and spray the curls a little bit. Now, according or depending on the client, some clients might want to wear this real big. Some clients might just want to actually see the curl and leave it more like ringlets. So it's really up to the client on how they like it.
Mm.
So, like I said, you could do this haircut with just a taper, right? Or you can do it with a fade all the way through. Today, we kind of did a little bit of a low blowout fade taper type deal on this mannequin. It just made it a little bit easier working around the ear because you always want to do a little bit of a lower fade anytime you want to leave such long hair on top. You don't want to bring the fade all the way up to the long hair because then you're going to create a disconnected look. You want everything to blend nicely. All right, what do you guys think? Curly version? Straight version. What does everybody think on here? Give me some feedback, Instagram. Anybody have any questions on the cut?
Somebody said love the style. Fire cut.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice to have both. Like knowing that you can do
The best of both worlds.
awesome.
Back up a little bit, DJ, so they can get the whole.
They're saying both.
Both, right? Hey, it's actually a vibe watching both sides, looking at both sides. It's actually a vibe. Who knows? We might have started a trend, y'all. We might have started a trend. Straight and curly. All my competitors, hey, bust this out on stage. You're going to take home a trophy every time. Hey, don't forget, we have the Cocco Challenge coming up in Chicago at the end of the month. If you guys are into competing, make sure that you guys come out to Chicago and join in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you guys. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for
Yeah.
all the interaction. And I hope that you guys got some information that you can take to the shop and create infinite dignity for yourself and for your clients.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go ahead and talk about finally that winner of the crop top.
Oh, stop.
the
Who's winning?
Sligo.
Who's winning? If
So we're
it's
gonna
free,
look.
it's for me.
We're going to go ahead and look at the chat. We're going to pick someone out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to have everyone just put in the fire emoji in the chat. And we're going to start moving it. And then we're going to take a number between 1 and 10 in my own head. And we're going to see who gets in there fast enough. So I'm going to count a amount of time in my head and just put in fire emojis in the chat. I'm gonna wait.
You like it? Who got your hair? Nick. You guys all got haircuts.
Where's the pin? Noah Montana. Congratulations.
Hey!
Noah, we're gonna get your details. I'm gonna have you go ahead and DM us, and we're gonna send you all the information that you need to do for that. And we're about to throw on some great deals also.
Hey,
If you
so
enjoy, yeah.
tell Noah, hey Noah, now when you get your flat iron, send me send me a DM and a picture of how you use your flat iron. I'm interested to find out.
And now we're gonna go ahead and show off some of our combo deals.
There you go. Deals, deals, deals.
So if you really want to learn how to do this haircut, we have some great ways for you guys to get the exact tools that you guys saw Karina using. So first and foremost, we have a deal where for our shears, which are for Karina's favorite tool, one of her favorite tools here at Cocco, for every single shear that you buy, we're for today and today only, until midnight Eastern time. So the next 1.5 hours. We're going to be selling for each shear, you're going to get one free clipper or trimmer.
Woo!
So for $2.95 for just the shear, you're going to get an additional clipper or trimmer for free. The second combo that we have is if you buy a set, a thinning shear and a normal shear, you're going to get both the trimmer and clipper free. So that's priced at $4.95. And then finally, for the final combo, if you want all the tools that we're seeing here, if you want to be like Noah and have that domed iron, you can get combo 2. And for an additional $100, you're going to get the ore brushes and the dome flat iron thrown in there for you. We also do the same exact combos, but if you want the super cobalt version of the shears, it's going to be $100 extra for each version of those deals. So if you're hoping to get basically the wolf combo, right, the Karina wolf combo, we highly suggest combo number 3, where you'll get all the tools that you'll need to replicate this haircut. When you do order online, it's going to be on our Cocco website, so our official Cocco website. Go ahead and go on coccohairpro.com. We're gonna send it out in the chat on Instagram and on YouTube. And you're going to look for the combo section. And when you get to the combos, make sure that in your notes, you specify both the shear size that you want, so that we can send you the right shear size, whether or not you want a trimmer or clipper, or if you're getting both, what colors you want for either the trimmer, clipper, and ore brushes. So again, this deal is only going to last until midnight Eastern time. So you guys have exactly 1.5 hours left to use those deals.
Start your engine.
So start your engine. Thank you so much for our first time doing Cocco live. Me and Karina just want to say bye to you together really quick. And we're just so happy to have you here. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. And have a great night or morning.
Good night, everybody. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you for all the interactions that you've given us. Thank you.
Yeah, God bless.
God bless.
Bye.